3-pedal J back in the garage again. This time on a not so happy note. Well, anybody who's still following along on this build, I have colossally destroyed the 6.4. I was out testing last week before the Modern Street Hemi shootout weekend. That Monday before, I believe it was May 8th, May 9th. I don't know. The shootout was May 12th and the 13th. So I was driving the car around, making sure everything was working well, cruising it, making a couple pulls here and there. And long story short, I made a pull on 9 o'clock at night, not 11, at 9 o'clock at night. I was on my way home, was about to put the car away, got within 2 miles of the house, and colossal engine failure. One of the rods let go. I'm gonna show you guys what that looks like. Destroyed the piston in number 6. Totally destroyed the block. I got pictures that I'll try to link in this video, but I'll also show you what's going on. But here is the rod. Well, what's left of the rod. And then it ended up bending the number 5 rod too. I couldn't get it off, but as you can see, it is definitely broke. The bearings are spun. The journal on here, the bearings are spun. The rest of the crank looks okay for what it went through. There's some nicks here. Oh, that's not okay. So yeah, I think I'm gonna try to get this reluctor wheel off because it's for a 13 and all my spare blocks are a 12. So I got a 5.7 or 2 5.7s that I'm gonna put together, one with stock configuration pistons and gap the rings and see what I can do on a stock bottom end 5.7. And then I'm gonna do a stroker kit that I've been planning on doing, which is a 6.4 crank, not that one, but another one that I have over on the other side of the garage. Some 6.4 rods and custom pistons for a 5.7. Let me see if I can pull one of the rods out of here. Here we go. So here is the number 5 piston. Little bit of debris on the top there. Nick right there, you can see. But then the crazy part right here, how it's all bent. You see how that's all bent? Definitely did some damage. So the rest of the rods are good. Oh, and then it broke I didn't even realize that. I broke I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, you guys see that. I broke the bolt end, but I was able to get that rod off. So it's crazy, but I was able to get it off. It just kind of destroyed it. So here's what the block looks like inside. Looking at it from right there, everything looks fine. Well, I mean, you see all the metal shards from the pistons. Looks good. Whoa, what do we have here? That's not right. So you're missing the galley right here that connects. You're missing the sprayer. You're missing this piece of the block here, that piece of the block there. There's a big ass crack right there, and there's a crack right here that I just noticed that didn't show through, but it's a micro crack right there. And then on this side you have the big crack, and then remarkably 7 and 8 didn't have any damage. There's obviously debris through there. If you look right down here where I'm pointing, that's part of the piston that just broke off. There's other parts of the piston that I took apart and whatever. Lifters were fine. I pulled them out. I'm not going to reuse them. I'm going to buy new lifters, but they were fine. I pulled them out to save them. The lifter trays were fine. I did bend 4 intake push rods. Every single valve on the intake is bent, and the exhaust valves are bent on the heads. Here's the driver's side head, which is the better of the two. If you look at it, every single intake valve is sticking out because they're all bent. The exhaust push rods are fine. You see all of the plugs are fine. There's no freckles or anything on that. So this head is 100% reusable, and it will get reused. This head is the passenger side, and it broke a valve, and I'll show you guys that. You can see here where this chamber got pretty screwed up. There's a missing valve head because it's broken. Surprisingly, these two valves are okay. I think this valve's probably jacked up, but I'm not sure. This one is certainly jacked up, the exhaust valve, and that intake valve is jacked up. But the chamber is fine. Little bit of specks here and there, but all this can be saved. I'm not so sure about this particular chamber. I'm going to take it to my machinist and see what they think. I do have another head from the first time I blew this steel up, but I ported that one, so it's not a factory unit, and I potentially can get another set of 6.4 heads for a reasonable price from a guy out west. I got a deal on that, but first I got to finish paying for this block over here. That is the replacement for that block that I destroyed. So I'm gonna finish paying for that block Thursday. I got it from my buddy. It's an interesting story. I bought that block for a very fair price, sold it to my buddy for an even better price, and then I ended up buying it back for the same price that I bought it for the first time. So I ended up paying for the same block twice. But it is what it is. I need it. So we're gonna do drop-ins. I like that comp HRT Stage 2 turbo cam, so I'm gonna get another one of those. Unfortunately, the pen did break on the HRT Stage 2 cam again. In fact, I'll show you guys. And then the rod, doing the damage that the rod did, all the pieces of the block ended up screwing this cam up. If you look right here, you see the pin is kind of embedded into the front of it, and then the front part of that is all jacked up. The lobes actually don't look too bad until you get to these right here. Let's see if you can see the nicks on them. Let's see if I can get that to work. Yeah, you start to see it. See the nicks right there. That should be good. So anyway, I honestly think this cam can be fixed. And I may look into it, but for peace of mind, when I put this deal back together, I'll just get a new one. There's no point in trying to salvage it. I might try to salvage it and throw it in something for proof of concept. Not really sure yet what I'm going to do with it. It's a shame because it maybe has 25, 30 miles on it, and I screwed that one up again. So this is the second HRT Stage 2 cam I screwed up with under 100 miles on it. I am a knucklehead. But this is real life YouTube. This isn't show only the best of the best glory runs. I'm trying to take you guys on this mission. I am your typical garage mechanic who knows enough to know that they know nothing. I've been dealing with these cars in this particular platform for a long time. Sorry about that, YouTube. And I'm putting my knowledge to the test. And clearly, the test is winning. I'm failing the test right now. But we're not going to quit. We're not going to give up. We've got this 5.7 right here on deck. The goal is to throw 2 pistons in it, put a 6.4 cam in it, knock the compression down by going with a larger gasket, a taller gasket, an 80 thousandth gasket. I'll probably have to order new push rods. I got to order a new cam facer because that broke as well. And then we just got the new rod bolts in today. We've got bearings from many of the other builds, so we're going to throw a fresh set of bearings in it. We're going to foul fit the rings, and then we're going to send it. I'm going to use a Holly intake. I'm going to reuse my Deutschwerks 1500cc injectors at 60 psi. Got the 4 fuel system, and I think that should be enough to get us somewhere in the 550 to 650 horsepower range. I don't know. I plan on running 10 pounds of boost on the stock bottom end 5.7. I'll go back and forth about whether or not I'm going to put the G-force transmission back in it or the stock one. I need to look into getting a different throwout bearing because I don't like the way the stock throwout bearing catches with the ram clutch. So I've got to try a couple of different things. The ram clutch is perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. So I'm going to save that for when we put the racing motor, the 6.4 back together and throw it in there. We're going to do probably a stock clutch for now. I think a stock clutch should handle 500-600 horsepower. And test the theory I have about the release bearing and where it catches. Ram has a release bearing that has adjustability in it for where it engages and disengages. So I'm thinking about grabbing that and getting that set up, because I figured out that a lot of this damage was caused because the two-step was disengaging when the clutch pedal was releasing, but it wasn't all the way. The arm travel was the factory arm travel. However, where the clutch disengaged to start moving the car was all the way at the tail end of the throw for the clutch pedal, and the two-step was off. So at that point, there was maybe, I don't know, several hundred milliseconds to allow the RPMs to shoot up to 7,000, 7,200 RPMs, and then it's like a clutch dump at that RPM. And that's what broke the drive shaft. That's probably what caused all of the problems with the internals, just too much RPM, too much torque going through the drive line when it engaged. So I was trying to slip it, but it didn't matter. It still was dumped. You live and you learn. So the solution to that is to adjust the clutch grab. It's a hydraulic clutch, so I gotta buy hydraulic controllers to make that work, and that's what I'll do after I get this thing back together. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'll get this 5.7 back together. I'll throw it in the car. We'll take it easy. We'll tune for E85. We'll start off on like maybe 7 pounds of boost, really, really light. I'm gonna gap the rings to 32,000s just because it's a stock bottom end, and I wanna give myself as much leeway as possible. It doesn't bother me to have to pull the pistons out, gap them, and then slide them back in. I've got 16 new rod bolts. I've got new rod bearings to throw in it, so it's no big deal. Swap the reluctor wheel on the crank and the crank sensor just because it's a 2012, which has a different spacing with the 58 tooth reluctor wheel, and that'll be it. That's the plan for now. If you guys are still staying around, I appreciate you. Give me a like, subscribe. I'll try to get as much content out as I can, and we'll keep this train rolling. I'm literally too dumb to quit. So stay tuned, and we're going to continue to try to tame this beast. Right now, we're down like 0-4 or something like that, but I'm not giving up. So talk to you later, YouTube. Peace.